Well, joining us from the International Action Center is Caleb Maupin, who's on the line with us from New York. I believe that Mr. Maupin was at the event himself. Tell us about these protests, and also what does constitute as an underperforming school which has made it eligible for closure?
Well, I certainly was at that demonstration, and what we have to understand is right now in New York City, what's going on is the same thing that's happening all across the United States, which is right now they're trying to transform public education, which is education for the good of the people, education not to make a profit for a corporation, and they're trying to privatize it. And in order to do that, they have to declare schools to be underperforming. So there's been a history of them cutting funding, increasing the class size, laying off teachers, and in addition, setting up more and more tests. So teachers are constantly having to teach the tests as a way to constantly have schools perform poorly on these tests. It's like they're setting, it's a planned failure. They're setting these schools up to fail on tests so that they can then say, see, they're underperforming, and then privatize them in order to then have what are called charter schools, which are schools run by private corporations, where a private corporation is paid per student in the school. And that way, banks and corporations can make money off of education, and education can no longer be something for the good of the students so they can get an education and learn and contribute to society, but instead be a for-profit industry, just like everything else in this capitalist United States.
Mr. Maupin, can you, in the broader picture, elaborate on what the aim of this educational reform program for New York educational facilities is?
It's very simple. Right now, capitalism is in an extreme state of collapse in the United States. They can't make money off of the things they've been using to make money off of. So the things that are held in common, the things that are just public, like water, like even air, are being privatized. Among them right now in the U.S., for example, there's also private prisons. There are prisons where corporations get paid for the number of people arrested for crimes. Well, now, education is another part of this battle where they're trying to privatize things, trying to turn schools, which are public institutions funded by taxpayer dollars so that children can get an education and be able to work and contribute to society. They're trying to take those and turn them into a profit-making mechanism so that profits can be made for corporations. And in the process, they want to destroy the teachers' unions. They want to make it so teachers are no longer paid highly, and instead teachers are low-wage workers, just like in every other sector of society. It's part of a war on the working class here in the United States, where they're trying to privatize everything, turn everything into something they can pay the lowest wages possible for and make the most profits for some bank or corporation.
From the International Action Center in New York, Mr. Caleb Maupin, many thanks for sharing your thoughts with us here on Press TV.